Hello, you bearded bastards, and welcome back once again to Scorchfountain, Scorchfountain, where currently it is the 2nd of Granite in the year 1170, right at the start of our 7th year here. You may remember that this is not where we last left off, and that's because we let some time pass just a little bit, maybe about half a year. We've had a lot to do here in the fortress, a lot of cleaning up, especially after the election of Moldath to the position of mayor. I will say that the guy's been doing a fine job managing Scorchfountain so far, and already we're benefiting greatly from his leadership. He really seems to have a knack for it. Now then, just because some time has passed, we're going to be going over some stuff here just at the beginning, just so we can get you up to speed. I will note that once again we are locked underground here because of a siege, an undead siege. They're all up over the surface again, as usual. That's getting to be a real problem, and it's something we're going to have to figure out. We haven't been able to trade at all, which has really screwed us up. We don't have any access to new clothing here in the fortress. Not quite yet anyways. On top of that, our farming space is fairly limited. We could make some bigger farms up in the anvil, but it's so much farther away from our main fortress here. Incredibly inefficient. But that all factors into what we've been doing this past year. Now, starting off over this way here, you'll know this project that we've been working on for quite some time. Since before last year, I think. Here you can see some wells. 10 of them. Finally crafted too. You may remember that water has been a big problem here in the fortress. There's none up on the surface at all, or the first cavern layer. There is some in the second cavern layer, but I only just realized it's only a pool. So if we took the water out of there, it wouldn't come back. That'd be it. So our only option has been down in the third cavern layer, far, far, far below us. And if we have a look down, a whole long way here, through the beetle pasture, and down even farther, you can see our waterworks. Now, okay, we're getting a little cute here with this whole thing. I had an idea that I thought would work really well, but it hasn't panned out the best so far. It's not completely ineffective, but it's not very effective either. Okay, right here is our reservoir. This is where we collect the water. And then up this way here, you can see some water wheels and some screw pumps. Now the water is intended to come down this tunnel here underneath these water wheels, which will then power these screw pumps here. And I had mistakenly thought that the water passing under the water wheels would be enough to just get them going enough where they could power these screw pumps. And then the screw pumps would pull water out, in turn causing the water wheels to keep functioning, you know? Note that the only reason that we have screw pumps here at all is so that we can clean the water coming out of the caverns. Otherwise it would be stagnant, which wouldn't be great. Again, I'm not too sure what the hell's going on here, and it does seem to work from time to time, like little bursts of water will come out, but it's not a continuous flow. I don't think it'll be a problem though. As long as it keeps going, gonna have to keep an eye on it. But yeah, so we have water now, which is great. Good for the hospital, good for the farms. Hoping to build some farms closer to the main fortress body now. We do have a couple of big farms down here in the beetle pasture, but again, it's pretty far away from the actual main fortress body. And I would like at some point to have farms like in the actual fortress. It'll just make things a lot more efficient. As I said before, one of the big things we don't have access to is clothing, which is getting to be a problem. We've been here for 7 years now, and a lot of the dwarves' clothing is getting a bit tattered, which has been creating some problems. We're trying our best though, and hopefully soon it won't be much of a problem at all. As far as our other projects go, up here in the northwest, you can see these 3 temples, all temples to Gertal. We have the Temple of Bothering, that was established a while ago, but now we also have the Temple of Garnish, which is being used by another religion devoted to Gertal. And then in the middle here, we just have a general temple to Gertal. Yeah, her temples are taking up a lot of space, but Gertal has a lot of worshippers in our fortress, so yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do. Over here in the museum, you can see a couple of downward stairways now. Underneath, we're carving out a tomb area. We need a proper place to inter our dead. Very important. And then down right over here, you can see the Gilded Guild, a craftsdwarf guild. A pretty nice place, loaded with boulders, but gets the job done. That is what's important. Down here, just off the beetle pasture, we've carved out a new room. It's a refuse pile. Gonna try something else here. Instead of having one entrance, I'm gonna encircle it with entrances so that if a dwarf has to dump something in there, they can just enter from any door and just hopefully plop it really close to where they want it to be, and they don't have to walk through the whole pile. I don't know if it's gonna work, but we're gonna try it. Almost done. Over here we have a new office for Moldath, looking very nice. And other than that, we're doing a bunch of smoothing and carving. Nothing too major really, but it's coming along. And that pretty much does it for our projects that we have in the fortress currently. There are a few of them, and it's taken a lot to get them done, and we still have a lot more to go even. Now moving on to our dwarves. Well, we've had some problems with them lately, and it's pretty unfortunate. Those undead sieges have really screwed us up. I was hoping at some point we could do some trading. We have a ton of stuff to trade. If we got some caravans in here, we'd be in a lot of luck, but it just has not happened. And so it's really been up to us to provide everything. Clothes, mainly. Again, that's our biggest problem. Although that being said, most of our familiar faces are doing pretty well. Stinthad, Shield, is doing okay. Arel the Silent, again, absolutely fine. Winx and her kids are doing fine. Beetlebane and Beetlebaby, a-okay. And Fisher too, doing absolutely fine. Now onto our problem dwarves, we have Obak, Doc Ironwood, not doing well at all. I think I was right about him accidentally killing those dwarves. It has really screwed him up. I think that was a catalyst for making him be in such a bad mood. The guy's miserable. He's been throwing tantrums too. He's been in prison a couple of times. And one time he was even beaten severely by Moldath as a punishment for his crimes. Yeah, it's not good. I am thinking we might have to replace him as head of our military, honestly. He just can't seem to keep it together. We'll see what happens though. We're trying our best still. He could come around. And as for our other familiar bad mood dwarf, it's Moldath, beardless, who's pretty darn stressed out. And I think it has something to do with him being locked in that room with that zombie. He did not appreciate seeing those dwarf corpses at all. That really worked on him very badly. That being said, I do think he's going to come around. I've turned off all of his labors, and so he's been relaxing a whole bunch. Well, not right now. Right now he's running around babbling like a lunatic. Couldn't totally blame the guy. I'm just hoping he chills out after a little bit. We might have to get him some new clothes. He is wearing clothes right now, but at one point I caught him in the Farmers Guild Hall and all he was wearing were like gloves and his hat. I still don't know why. And he didn't do it on purpose either. He was quite embarrassed about it. I don't know if it just fell off of him or what. I don't know. I'm not too sure what happened. But that didn't do anything to help his mindset. Which is obvious, I guess. Just really hoping he chills out. We're getting some new clothes made. But on to more pressing matters. Something we've been plagued with for the past few seasons. Down here in this bedroom right here, you can't see much in here at the moment, except for this suit of masterwork armor. That belonged to one of our bow dwarves, who was just discovered, drained of blood. Zul'Ban, one of our new migrants. This has been a problem. For the last several months, we've had a vampire in our fortress. And this is going to sound terrible, but this is the fourth dwarf to have been killed by it. And so far, we don't have any leads. I don't know who the hell it could be. Luckily, I mean, it's terrible to say, but luckily, all the dwarves who were killed were new migrants, so we didn't really know them too well. We did have a couple of migrant waves in this past year, and we're up to 65 dwarves, but are down to 61 now. And it must have been during one of those migrant waves that vampire showed up. It's very bothersome. I don't know who the hell it could be. Well, having a look over here in the Justice tab, you can see the 4 murdered dwarves. Lorbam, Lor, Meng, and Zul'Ban, the one who was just killed. Now, I have ordered some interrogations to take place, and I'm hoping to interrogate all of the new migrants, the ones who came in those past couple of waves. Really, I do not know how this process works, but I'm hoping it doesn't take too long, and I'm hoping to learn something from it. I guess we could see what happens, right? I suppose a safe bet would be to start out watching Obak, Doc Ironwood. I assume he's the one who does the interrogating. But, again, I'm not too sure. Right now he's going to get something to eat. This might take a bit. Partaking in some archery practice. Good, but not what we need. And now he is sunk into depression in this hallway over here. Well, if the interrogations are done by Obak here, I can't imagine they'll get done anytime soon. Mildly frustrating. Guess we'll just have to keep extra alert, dwarves. Gonna be trying my very best to keep an eye on sleeping dwarves from here on out. Although, with the bedrooms so spread out as they are, it'll be a pretty difficult job, I think. Who could even say if an interrogation would do the trick? I'd like to think it could work, but vampires are pretty wily. Something we could do is have a communal sleeping arrangement for a while. That way we can easily keep eyes on all of our sleeping dwarves. There'd be a lot more witnesses around. Or I mean, you could always just lock your bedroom doors when you sleep, dwarves. Might also be a pretty good idea. Yeah, there certainly are a lot of sleeping dwarves all over our fortress. Any one of them could be the next victim, too. I do not like that at all. Quite a bit of time has passed now, and I have to imagine that vampires are getting hungry once again. That being the case, I am trying to keep extra alert. Never can tell when that bastard will pop up. In the meantime, we are trying to do some background stuff. Down here, off the barracks, you can see a new office designed to be for the Dungeon Master, who was just appointed here in the fortress. Now, I'm not too sure what their job is exactly, but it might well be that they're the one who does the interrogating. If that's the case, then we might be able to interrogate some dwarves after all. That'd be nice. And I'll tell you too, our Dungeon Master seems like a hell of a dwarf. Her name is Burr, and she's 150-something years old, which is very old for a dwarf. She has 6 children and no time for any nonsense. She is very quick to anger. Again, I'm not too sure what her exact function is in the fortress, but I'm hoping we find out soon enough. while I would really like to keep tabs on the whole interrogation thing, there are so many sleeping dwarves around that really I think it's probably more effective if we just try to keep an eye on them. Primarily what I'm trying to look for is any dwarf trying to go into another dwarf's bedroom while they're sleeping. That would be a pretty good clue. And I guess another thing we could do is painstakingly try to keep tabs on all of our dwarves to see which ones are eating and drinking. Vampires don't do that, and so if we could compile a list of all the dwarves who are in fact eating and drinking, then eventually it would narrow things down. Something else we could do is have a look at the dates the last 2 vampire victims were found. We have Meng here, who was found in Obsidian of last year, and then we have Zulban, who was found in Felsite, almost exactly 3 months later. And having a look at the current date, it is now the 1st of Galena, 1170. And so at this point it's been about 3 more months. Probably should have had a look at those dates earlier, huh? Stay vigilant, dwarves. One amongst us is a slimy, blood-sucking vampire. Actually, you know what? Something stupid I just realized is that we don't have a captain of the guard, and I'm pretty sure they are the one who does the interrogating. Doc Ironwood was not the captain of the guard. He was just a leader of the Blue Bows. And so with that in mind, we're going to start a new squad, and we'll name it the Scorching Amulets, which might seem a bit strange, but we're going to put Burr in charge of this squad, and she's a big fan of amulets. In fact, she made one, an artifact, that we have not yet seen. There's actually a few artifacts we've made in the background at this point, so we might have to take a look at that one at some point. Anyways, just for now, I'm going to put her in the squad, and she's not going to be equipped with a bow. This squad here is going to be clad in masterwork copper armor and be equipped with flails. Hoping this does the trick, and I think it will. Now, I would love to watch her, but again, that vampire is going to strike any second now, so I'll be keeping a passive eye on her, just to see if she does actually do any interrogating. Yeah, we've got it this time. I'm feeling confident. Just gotta keep them peepers peeled. Keeping those eyes open. Oh, here's something interesting. A little bit of a distraction. A dwarf we have not yet met, Zan Eidenkosh, our chronicler, storyteller. He was just recently appointed and has been doing a great job. A couple months ago, he told a wonderful story about our King Bim. Anyways, he just entered a strange mood. It doesn't look like he has everything he needs right now, but we're gonna get to work at that. We don't want to lose this guy. Not at all. Now then, back on watch. Oh, and this is interesting. It looks like Burr is interrogating dwarves, starting with Moldath, the Beardless. Well, I'm hoping you figure something out, Burr. And having a look here, you can see Burr met with the subject, made flattering remarks in order to elicit information, an excellent tactic. And it looks like it worked because Moldath succumbed to vanity. Of course he did. But nothing was learned. Okay. Well, keep it up, Burr. For now, the fortress is on high alert. Well, hold up a second. I just happened to look down here and I could see a dwarf. A severely injured dwarf suffering from blood loss. And this is Athel Fisher. She has no visible wounds whatsoever, but is suffering from severe blood loss. And she just got through sleeping in her bedroom, so she must have been attacked. Okay. Alright, we're getting serious now. That could have been a bad one. I still don't know if she's gonna pull through either. Although, thankfully, she seems to be doing fine. Yeah, having a look at her status, you can see here she's suffering from severe blood loss, and has no wounds whatsoever. Hoping that means she's in the clear. You know, I didn't realize somebody could survive a vampire attack, but here we are. You know, it could well be that 3-month interval that we were talking about earlier could be completely wrong. Maybe some other dwarf got attacked but didn't die. If that happened, then we wouldn't know the interval. Well, hang in there, Fisher. I'm gonna start creating a list of all the dwarves that we see eating and drinking. Covert-like. We can't let anybody know that we're doing this. Whew, oh boy. This is going to take some doing, but we're going to pick through these dwarves and find the most likely suspects. Okay, well, at this particular moment, I went through all of our dwarves. We have 60 dwarves, and I believe that 28 of them are likely vampires. Almost half the fortress. We can exclude dwarves like Stinthad, who's been here the entire time. A dwarf can't just randomly become a vampire without us knowing. And we can also be fairly certain that any dwarf who's been here for more than 3 years is not a vampire either. Now we can start eliminating dwarves based on which ones eat and drink. Oh, you know what? Sleeping too. Vampires don't sleep. Yeah, this should go fairly quickly, actually. In the meantime, I guess it's just back to fortress business like usual. An update on Fisher here. Still seems to be doing fine, although she is still suffering from her severe blood loss. But it looks like she may have just improved a little bit. Okay, yeah. Now it says she's faint. That has to be better, right? Whew, okay. I think she's gonna be just fine. No worries about Fisher anymore. Looks like Burr is continuing to interrogate dwarves. Still haven't learned much though, unfortunately. I think the only thing we could really hope for is if she actually interrogates the vampire. And of course then we'd also have to hope that the vampire is stupid enough to give themselves away. We are still keeping an eye on the dwarves, of course, and are checking them off left and right too. This process is going much faster than I thought it would. And at this point we are down to 13 dwarves who I think could possibly be vampires. And I'm starting to get a little suspicious. I don't want to go pointing any fingers yet, but I'm starting to get a feeling I know who it might be. We'll see. We'll give it a bit more time. Oh my goodness. Would you look at that? A caravan from Kulat Gash Kaz has arrived. I didn't even realize we weren't under siege anymore. I would love to do some trading, but I think we have to. My main reason I don't really want to is because at this point the dwarves are very well adapted to their underground environment. They haven't seen sun in a long time, and being outside is really going to affect them. But if we can get some clothes quickly out of this deal, then it would be totally worth it. There are a few other things I like to do up here too. I'm just going to try to limit their time out on the surface though. Just hoping we can make this worth it. Oh, damn. This is going to mess up our vampire search quite a bit, I think. Some migrants have just arrived, which is great, but yeah, it's fine. We have our list of existing dwarves here in the fortress already, so hopefully we can still keep up the same pace. We're down to 5 dwarves now, and I'm fairly confident I know who it is. Okay, getting some trading done real quick. Going to be trading a ton of copper flails, and I imagine we can get quite a bit for them. We've been stockpiling them for a while now. Okay, done deal. We did get some clothing, not a lot, they didn't bring too much, but we did get some cloth, which is very important, wool cloth. We'll need it for strange moods in the future. We don't have any wool-bearing creatures here in the fortress. On to more pressing matters. We're just crossing off the second to last dwarf on our list of potential vampires, Saigon. So that means there's only one dwarf left, and I suppose I should have seen it coming a mile away. The last dwarf on the list is Burr, the captain of the guard/dungeon master. Because of course, that's who it is. You sneaky bastard. You know, here I am thinking she had a good head on her shoulders. I don't know how she went out and sucked blood from Fisher right after we were dealing with her. So sneaky. Okay, we're gonna have to think of something to do with her. We can't let her know that we're on to her yet, though. Just gonna let her keep going about her business for now. That's right, Burr. Keep interrogating those dwarves. You're doing some great work, you slimy monster. Oh, actually, you know what? Some time just passed, and I noticed she's down here in her office. That being the case, I locked the doors, so now she can't get out. This here will prove whether or not she is a vampire. If she starts starving or dehydrating, then we'll know we're wrong. But I'm pretty sure we're not. So sneaky. Okay, and now that we have that little problem solved for the most part, out here on the surface you can see a little something we're working on right now. It's kind of an oval-shaped area with a wall around it and a trench outside that. And I'm hoping to link this up to the underground fortress, so that we have a place where we can grow above ground crops. On top of that, I'm also hoping to build a tavern out here as well, just so the dwarves can start getting some fairly regular exposure to sunlight. I like to have them out on the surface from time to time, and I don't want to have to worry about them vomiting and getting dizzy and stumbling all over each other. Definitely for the best. And actually, this is coming along faster than I thought it would too. Just gotta get this wall built up here. The trench is all carved out already, and then outside the wall we're stamping down the dirt, making kind of a dirt road, so that trees can't grow. We don't want things crawling up the trees and then jumping over the wall. That wouldn't be too great. But that's gonna put an end to that in a hurry. The dead walk, hide while you still can. Once again. It seems like whenever they leave, at most we only ever have a season before they return. 3 months. Enough to get some stuff done, but not ever enough. Oh well. Get into the fortress, dwarves, please, thank you. Luckily, we're almost completed with this farming terrace here. It is now connected up to the fortress below, but there is one section of wall missing. I'm hoping that doesn't give us trouble. I'm still trying to get somebody up here to finish it. In the meantime, having a look over here, I don't see any dwarves on the surface anymore. And as these rat-faced bastards move in, I will point out this damned one here. The same exact one who's been here several times now. I'd really like to know this guy's story. Where is he coming from exactly? When the invaders show up, it's only ever this one damned one. Well, no matter. Alright, well, looks like we're all safe inside now, dwarves. So you can resume your duties. Get to it, will ya? One of the things I'm trying to figure out is down here, our waterworks project. As you can see, the water did stop flowing eventually, and now it's all backed up behind these screw pumps. So I think we're going to have to release this water, and then I actually built some more water wheels up in the ceiling, above where this water is. I think this should solve the problem. Just trying to keep a little bit of an eye on these zombies here. If they somehow did manage to get over this wall here, they could just shamble down to the fortress, no problem whatsoever. But I don't think it's going to be a problem. Fingers crossed. I am noticing that this damned one here is off by himself once again though. Just kind of milling about. So sneaky. We know what you're about. No fooling us. Anyways, back down here with our waterworks. Still trying to drain out that one section. Yeah, okay. Water is draining out now. Very good. On another water-related note, we have another project over here. A pretty big one, too. Farms. You can see we're just moistening this room right here, with the use of buckets. Yeah, coming right along, it's a pretty big field, but it should be done before we know it. Just going to try to do one at a time. You can see we have 4 large fields here and also 4 smaller rooms. These are going to be used for horn beetles. In each of these rooms, we're going to have a few horn beetles, probably 3 females and a male, as well as some nest boxes. It'll help us better control their population. Over on the west, you can see some very small rooms, and these are going to be for seeds. This curving tunnel down here leads up to that farming terrace on the surface. Okay, and back over here to our water system. I think we're all set now. As long as we have water passing underneath these water wheels in the ceiling, it should transfer enough energy down to these screw pumps to keep them going. I don't know, it's a messed up system at this point. Gonna let some water in to see what happens. And here comes some water. Okay, is this working? It certainly seems more stable than that last iteration. Oh, but it just stopped for a second. Come on, just keep going. I got my hopes up. Okay, yeah, it's still a bit janky, but I'm hoping having 2 sets of water wheels can help it a little bit. I don't know, it's a mess. Just gonna have to keep messing with it, I guess. Back down over here with our vampire friend, Burr. She's locked up in this room currently, but I think we're going to try to move her right into our prison. And she's been stripped of her position of Dungeon Master and Captain of the Guard, and now I'm hoping she'll rot in here till the end of time. Have fun! Now we'll have a quick look at some of our dwarves in the fortress, namely Moldaff, who is still quite a bit stressed out, but he's here in the Scorching Hall now, just kind of socializing, relaxing a bit, really hoping that helps him. One of the worst things is that because he's a necromancer, he doesn't have to eat or drink, and having not had alcohol in a while really has affected him big time. That and the whole nudity thing he experienced. He's not nude right now, just a heads up. That was just a one-time thing, I hope. With our new farm plots almost completed though, I'm pretty sure we're going to have a clothing industry in place by the end of next year. That's the hope anyways. And then over here we have Doc Ironwood, who is seemingly going through stuff at the moment. Not sure it was a wise decision, but after we discovered Burr was a vampire, this guy was promoted to Captain of the Guard. That being said, he's another dwarf I could see coming back from this. Just gonna have to maybe give him some time. Feeling positive. What was that? A noise. And I don't think it came from our fortress. Out in the tunnels. Something's happening out there. It looks like the zombies have made it out to the tunnels once again. What is this? A forgotten beast. Ditari Larina Fayoba Serona Rima. An enormous, noseless bison. It has a knobby shell and appears to be emaciated. Its peach hair is unkempt. Beware its poisonous sting. The thing is just wading in and destroying the zombies. Look at that, no problem whatsoever. It appears to just be waiting for them to move in. Oh, and it is just batting them away, no problem whatsoever. Look at that. Wow, I didn't think it would hold up too well against those zombies, honestly. Oh yeah, but it's not having a single problem. Oh, it took a hit right there, but it's still going, seemingly. Oh man, yeah, would you look at that? That has to be almost all of them, right? Well, it looks like it's gonna go try to find out. Okay, I found another pocket of undead, and it's just mowing through them, no problem. Look at that. Heaps of corpses, and the siege is over. Ditari, the forgotten beast, our savior. You wonderful, monstrous siege breaker. Oof. Yeah, it did take some good hits in that fighting. Has some fractured legs, but overall seems to be doing pretty okay. Well, that really is something, isn't it? Thank you once again, you terrifying brute. You know what? You want to try to get cute with this thing? I kinda do. Well, if you have a look down here in our snaky entry tunnel, you can see some weapon traps. We've been trying to get some set up in here. They're nothing special really. Each only has a single copper flail in it. Additionally, I am aware that the Forgotten Beast will not be triggering them. Far too big. The mechanism's just not set up for it. But we could station some bow dwarves behind these fortifications. That might be pretty interesting. I don't know, what do you think? The creature does seem pretty tough, but it only has a sting, which as far as Forgotten Beasts go isn't that bad. Yeah, what the hell, let's go for it. Might not be the brightest idea, but damn it, I need some excitement. Just order this wall up here to be dug away. And the archers are getting in place as we speak. And the Forgotten Beast is still moving around in agitated fashion. Oh boy, here it comes. Yeah, it's coming straight in. It knows the way is clear. That being the case, I'm going to turn on this burrow here. A new burrow, which allows access to only bedrooms, the meeting hall, and a couple other necessary amenities. Okay, and I think the dwarves are going back to the fortress now. Good. Was this a bad idea? I think this might have been a bad idea. Watching the Forgotten Beast, they are... Oh dear. Oh, no. This is bad. This is real bad. Okay. I just paused the game. Now, I guess I had forgotten that the Forgotten Beast could just smash through these doors in the anvil if it wanted to. And I have a feeling it does want to. Okay, we're gonna have a little bit of a change of plans here, because I do think that beast is going to just smash through the anvil and then come down this staircase right here. Pretty sure. Damn, yeah, okay, it's up here, destroying doors. Not too sure how long this will take. I do have our bow dwarves stationed down here. We don't have any melee fighters right now, which is gonna be a problem, I think. But hopefully they can manage if it does end up coming in at all. It does seem to be taking an awful long time to get this door down, perhaps due to its fairly grievous wounds. Alright, that's enough horsing around. Get in here, beast. Just unlock the door. Alright, now following the beast as it moves its way through the anvil and down to the fortress. Just really hoping those bow dwarves are in place now, and that they can take down this creature. Here it is now, down in the fortress. A volley of arrows is loosed as the bow dwarves move in. One of the bow dwarves does not appear to have any arrows. Makes no sense, but here we are. There also appears to be a large group of civilians moving down towards the creature. I'm not too sure what their goal is, but maybe they're thinking they can take it down. If that's the case, then it may be a bit foolish, but maybe not. Come on, guys, keep fighting. That's right, pile on. Maybe they can do it. The creature appears to be enraged now, which is going to make it that much more dangerous. One of the civilians in this fighting is Beetlebane, who is just punching at the thing with her fists. Brave, however, also might be extremely foolish. I suppose time will tell. Keep it up, dwarves. You could... You know, they might be able to take it down. Although, we've already lost 2 dwarves that I can see, and 2 more are severely wounded. But the beast has died, badly bruised and peppered with arrows. Datari has fallen. We have won, but at a cost. We've lost some dwarves. 4 of them, I believe. 5, actually. Another just died. And one of those who died was Athel Fisher, our medical dwarf / Fisher dwarf. She went down fighting, which, of course she did. She was always a fighter, that one. All things considered, I think we got lucky with this. It could and should have been much, much worse. Getting the creature's body butchered as we speak. And actually, I'm going to try to do something with this as well. A little something to commemorate this dark, dark event. I'm going to try to make a totem out of this creature's skull. Here we have it. A Forgotten Beast Skull Totem. The Skull of Datari. Infiltrator of Scorchfountain and Slayer of Fisher. May our hubris never get the better of us again. Well, you know, all things considered, I think Scorchfountain is actually in a pretty good place. We'll be ready next time. Yeah, our vampire is dealt with. Our farm is basically good to go, which is very excellent. Our waterworks are still janky and not working correctly, but it's working well enough. Well enough. Pun quite intended. Oh, would you look at that? We just got a new migrant wave. Excellent. Yeah, things are looking up around here. Oh boy, and that was a huge migrant wave too. Up to 88 dwarves now. Dwarves that'll help us with our labor, and also dwarves that'll fill our ranks. That's right. It's high time we had a proper military here in Scorchfountain. That is our ultimate purpose after all, and soon we'll be ready to attack. Hopefully anyways. I'm feeling positive about it, and you, dwarves of Scorchfountain, should as well. We are ever graced by Acker's flail. The future is bright. How's it going, you bearded bastards? We're here at the end of the episode once again, just to talk about some behind-the-scenes stuff, maybe just to clarify some things. And of course, we're once again accompanied by some fantastic fan artwork. Some real brilliant stuff, too. Keep those eyes open. Now then, first up we have Moldath, our poor, stressed necromancer mayor. He's really degraded quite a bit since last episode. I really do think having him locked up in that room bothered him a ton. When those zombies came back to life, it was like he was viewing the corpses of his dead associates. And yeah, that really screwed him up. On top of that, the whole naked thing didn't really do any good for him either. And then doesn't he also have like a frequently depressed attribute in his mindset? I think so. But he has enough good stuff in there too where I do really think he's going to be coming back at some point. Really hoping so. If he goes insane, well, I'm going to be devastated, frankly. But you just got to go with the flow, I guess. Dwarf Fortress. Next up, the Vampire, Burr. What a piece of crap. Go figure too that she ended up being our captain of the guard. You know, I had chosen her originally for the position of Dungeon Master. And for that position you need a high schemer skill. And she had the highest in the fortress. That should have been our tip-off, right? The dwarf who was best at scheming was our vampire. Rotten bastard. Yeah, I started having suspicions after we got down to 13 dwarves and she was still on the list. Well, you know, I'm not too sure what we're gonna do with her now. But she's locked up and, I don't know, maybe we'll start training her or something. Probably nothing interesting. Though, you know what we could do? I think we could figure out a way to use her blood to make a vampire fortress. Wouldn't that be cool? Just kidding, of course. That's such a stupid idea. Who the hell would even do that? Moving on, up next we have that beast that attacked us. Dithari. Well, yeah, I wasn't expecting it to go up through the anvil. Stupid me. And really, it's likely that we could have just blocked up that doorway before it could break through, but I chose to unlock it. We couldn't have attacked it safely from behind up there. And also, I really just kind of wanted to deal with the thing right then and there. I didn't think it would be that difficult, though. Like, we killed that gator. And that wasn't too bad. I mean, I guess it was pretty bad, actually. I don't know. Sometimes you just gotta try stuff, even if it's risky. Keeps things interesting, you know? And the last thing I'd like to touch on is those migrants that we just received at the end of this episode. Up to 88 dwarves now, and that is fantastic. I do plan on making a lot of them part of our military. The whole point of this fortress is to have a war fortress that can go out and attack other places, you know? I've already set up a full squad of flail dwarves, and it might make a second as well. There were a lot of dwarves in there. Very exciting. Well, you know, I think that's gonna be about it. Once again, my bearded bastards, I thank you for watching. I truly do hope you enjoyed yourselves, and I do hope to see you next time, here in Athlestzafon, Scorchfountain. And until then, you bearded bastards,